in Sherwood. I joined the military. I was in the Army, and I basically joined up originally just as a regular infantry gent. I got the ability then to kind of go into some other separate trainings, and one of those was specifically sniper training. I was assigned to the 10th Mountain Division, which was basically their special operations platoon. Yeah, it was the recon team. You know, growing up, I've always hunted. My father, you know, not some of the best experiences, you know, waking up in the morning, but I somewhat got a knack for it and enjoyed it. Enjoyed distance shooting, but more or less, I liked the pursuit of more, especially both mentally and physically. So any class, anything that was more aggressive than just the standard or the norm, I looked for, and so that's what ultimately drew me to being a sniper or wanting to pursue that. I went with the 10th Mountain to Afghanistan, and that was the 2010 to the 2011, and that was the single deployment that I went with. What had kind of happened was there was kind of a re-amp of being more physical. There was kind of a point between the 2008 model and 2010 where it was more of a hearts and minds we were trying to win over, and the physical portion was coming back online, especially in Afghanistan. And as the sniper teams, we were called on specific missions to locations to help out within the region. Ones really well known as, you know, the Tangi Valley, the Shark District, that were very prominent in regards to majority of all of Afghanistan's engagement, small arms fire. 80% to 90% of all small arms fire came from RAO. So that's where the war was happening, in the mountains. This bag was mentioned to some of the other guys that were actually getting out of the recon team. So they were leaving and they had some bags, and so they had mentioned to me of just its versatility, what its ability, its strength, how it fit, how it was able to take on, and right, being the ignorant one, I didn't know, and so I relied a lot upon them. So that's where I first gained the understanding of Eberlestock, even the name, and then I purchased my first bag. So, like I said, this is the pack that I originally took with me on my deployment, and as we rolled out, even so why you actually have these bags, right? Why they're separate than the standard issued equipment, and why we went the pursuit of this, and especially the majority of my team members went, is because as a sniper, when you're out in movements, typically as you're going through, you know, a typical bazaar or a movement with the standard infantry gents, you don't want your weapon out in the open. You know, you become an individualized target where that enemy wants to hone in and take out. You know, they see you as something, as a specialty target. And so what this gave us the opportunity is to hide that aspect. Not only that, you know, you could hide it in the scabbard and then have enough space to carry all your sensitive items. And in this specific movement, we took some fire on a road, and as we took the fire, there was an improvised explosive device that went off, and it was pretty near me, and some of the shrapnel that came from that projectile actually hit my bag, knocked me over, and I didn't even understand how close or, you know, how severe it could have been. When I took this hit, it actually hit the back side of the scabbard, and there's a zipper, and so the barrel kept falling in and out, and so it became somewhat ineffective, and it terrified me. I remember seeing it on that mission, and you know, kind of my heart sank of, you know, it was only 3 months in to what was to come, a 14-month deployment. And so I remember getting back to the FOB that night, and I don't know who I was talking to, but somebody had mentioned, hey, you know, you can send that bag in. I sent an email, I think it was just a general email to Eberle that night when I got back, and said, hey, this is the situation, this is the case, what can you do? And the response was, at first it was, hey, yeah, absolutely, send your bag in. And I'm like, well, man, I'm actually deployed. And we had, whether it was a day or two, but 2 days tops, and I believe Glenn, right, the owner of the company, got involved. And I sent a picture, saw the damage. He expressed in the email how you guys just went through a fire, and he's like, but man, I'll give you everything I got. And you know, it's hard enough with dealing all the emotions over there, but in a week's time, to be able to get a brand new bag. And you can even tell, you know it was your last one, because, I mean, it came burnt. It's all that he had, and you guys sent it to me so that we could still be mission effective. And like I said, it was, you know, from Boise, Idaho to, you know, Kandahar province in Afghanistan in less than a week. It says something to the support that Eberlestock wants to provide for their soldiers, and it was really appreciated. It was very American, it was patriotic, and it helped us to continue to be effective in that deployment. It meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. I mean, to this day, it still means a lot. You deal with so many emotions over there, and the concept of, you know, it's nothing to deem as anything more glorified than the guy who's driving a truck. But the things that emotionally we face, you know, the support that we actually we get up there, it's minimal. And you think it's so minimal, right? You think it's so minuscule to send a bag, but it was everything. And specifically, it was everything to me. I mean, everything effectively that we were being able to perform our specific job and tasks, right? Mine none above any of the others. But to me, to be mission inoperable was terrifying, because I know that meant the protection of individuals that I was covering. And, you know, the bags that were being issued, that we were given, were not allowing us to be effective. And so, in a week's time, to send something like that, you know, to have the run-in, right? I'm dealing with an emotion of a run-in where my life was on the line and closer than I really thought. To have a support of somebody to willingly, without question, sending a bag, putting it on an immediate rush, the last bag he had in stock. You know, my deployment ended in 2011. I came home and I finished my time. And there's still guys out there, you know, that are squared away and are still nonstop, that are up on the sides of the mountains, you know, and they need that support. And, you know, they got close calls still, coming day in and day out. I love what Eberlestock has done for me. I love what the bag means. I love what it represents. I love what this one represents. And in reality, I'd love to donate the bag. I'd love to donate the bag to you and that piece of shrapnel, so you guys can have that and show what you guys are doing for us. So